If you turn off the busy Yio Chu Kang Road in northeastern Singapore and follow a long, earthen path that winds and snakes for about 300 meters, you will find something of a time capsule. Nestled here, on 3 acres of verdant land, is Kampong Lorong Buangkok, Singapore's last surviving village, where remnants of the 1960s are alive and well. Little resembles modern-day Singapore's panorama of slick skyscrapers. Instead, the cluster of squat bungalows looks like a vintage postcard of the city's yesteryear. A young nation with international aspirations, Singapore rapidly urbanized in the 1980s and quickly transitioned from an agricultural to industrial economy. Overcrowded shophouses were replaced with high-rise flats and sprawling skyscrapers, ushering in the so-called era of expressways, that saw small roads replaced with multi-lane highways across the city-state. With land at a premium on the island, the rural kampongs had to give way. One reason Lorong Buangkok has managed to escape the fate that befell other kampongs is because the surrounding area wasn't as desirable for commercial, industrial and residential development as elsewhere in Singapore, though that has slowly changed. Once surrounded by a forest clearing and farms, it is now flanked by an enclave of private gated housing and a cluster of flats that overlooks the low-rise settlement. Approaching 70, Ang Mui Hong has lived nearly her whole life in the village. She is the youngest of 4 siblings, and only one who has stayed here. Her late father, a traditional Chinese medicine seller, purchased the land in 1956. The same year the village was created and 9 years before Singapore gained independence. Majority of the plots were leased out to workers from the nearby hospital and rubber plantation, many of whose descendants still reside here. Back then, monthly rent for each house was between $4.50 and $30. Today, Ang still charges Lorong Buangkok's 25 families more or less the same rate. By contrast, renting a room that's roughly 1/10 the size of a kampong house in an adjacent government-built block might cost about 20 times that amount. And the houses across the dividing canal can sell for upward of a few million Singaporean dollars. While the village has arguably the most affordable housing in Singapore, no new occupants have moved in since the 1990s, and there's a slim chance there will be any in the near future. Residency is conditional. Someone generally has to move out or pass away for a home to open up, and then only those with a connection to either past and present tenants or Ang's family are considered. In 2014, there was a proposal to raze the village and replace it with a highway, 2 schools and a public park. Though the government may still consider the plan, the Minister for National Development, Desmond Lee, has also stated that there is no intention to implement these developments in the near future. Many Singaporeans have voiced their objections to the proposed plan. Others have even pushed for the village to be included as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. But while kampongs were once widely regarded as deplorable by the Singapore government, there's now a newfound appreciation by officials for these rural relics and the culture they foster. In Singapore, where land is a precious commodity, there will always be tension between keeping the old and developing the new. While the future of Lorong Buangkok remains uncertain, saving it means safekeeping a glimpse of the nation's roots, culture and heritage for future generations, something that's necessary even for a country as young as Singapore.